Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and appreciate the opportunity to be here and shed some light on this. And I fished that Gulf since I was about 5 years old, standing on the Steinhatchee Bridge with my dad up to and until the point I learned how to fish with some commercial fishermen by the last name Raffield. Captain Bill, good man. Might not have caused as many fish as Buddy Gendon in the Gulf of Mexico, but I think one of the problems we got here is this isn't about fish, this is about money when you get right down to it. And so the issue with the lawsuit that was brought, one of the advisory members of NOAA brought the lawsuit. And I'd like to read something from the lawsuit since you mentioned it as a common asset and you said the fish are the people's fish. One of the men that filed the suit from Texas, in the suit it says the current management system for hire captains such as the fishermen named in this cannot permit their customers to fish for red snapper even in state waters when the federal recreational fishery is closed. Therefore, they are uniquely punished as the federal season shortens. The EDF is paying for this lawsuit, by the way. Here's from one of them's website. Let's see, where is it? Year-round red snapper fishing experiences. It's about money, not about fishing. This is one day. My yearly allocation, any American's yearly allocation that complies with the rules the way they're designed to be complied with is 6. But when you sit on the board and you create a regulatory mechanism under which nobody can comply with it, and you're making as much money as is being made, that's the problem here. And so a public asset has been used to create private wealth. Would you please play the video for me? This guy is one of the best fishermen in the Gulf.
See how it's done.
He honestly is. Let's see how they do it.
The best way to target red snappers
He's good.
is to fish with a bandit. And it's a hydraulic reel or electric reel with a long fiberglass arm.
You have 2 different gears. You start off with both your gears baited up.
You bait a hook by cutting your bait up into 1.5 inch by 1.5 inch triangles. And then you put your hook in on the tip of the triangle. You're ready to get to work and get the job done.
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Usually you run 20 to 30 hooks at a time.
20 to 30 hooks at a time.
Window weight, that's what takes the gear down.
2 bandits per man.
Bandit will start to
60
hit,
hooks
start
per person.
to jiggle like that.
And then they have a hydraulic valve on the reel that brings it up, and boom, there they are. Beautiful fish.
That was a good down.
That's my yearly
when you have 18
allocation.
fish on a gear that average 4 pounds apiece, you're not going to be able to lift
18
it over
fish,
the
4
side all
pounds
at one
apiece.
time.
That's mine, my dad's, my
You
brother's,
gotta
my
reach down and
sister's, my
grab
wife's.
your line in between the fish so you don't stick yourself.
Now, you also don't want to let it just pile up on the deck because then you got fish flipping around and they'll tangle your gear all up into a knot.
You grab your other gear, you send it to the bottom, and then you start taking these fish off the hook.
And they go into ice chest. And you're adding a little bit of salt water, that chill brine, to bring the temperature of the fish down. Come out a lot better when they're soaking in just a little bit of water. And your reward is you get to go back to work.
Yep, he gets to go back the next day and catch another 15,000 pounds. This is about money. There's black snapper in the Gulf. There's white snapper in the Gulf. There's all kinds of different snapper in the Gulf. But the red snapper is worth more per pound than any other fish. But the red snapper to the American taxpayer, the recreational angler, is worth more per snapper caught to the American taxpayer. So let's, I would suggest it's worth the $20 to buy the Big Fish Texas. Mr. Brown, I'm glad y'all are in favor of protecting the species. I hope you'll be supportive of additional national monuments in the Gulf of Mexico since we have such a shortage of red snapper that the American family can only fish 3 days. Look forward to working to get that done. And let me sum it up like this. I bought the whole video series so I could find out just how much money there was in it. Now, these people never paid for their allotment. I want you to understand that. It's a public asset. They gave it to themselves. The increased allocation in of itself, in their video, they say the commercial fisherman explains how his fishing company has been given a 30% increase in its quota. One company got a 30% increase in its quota. Now, they're big. They get 20% of the fish in the Gulf of Mexico, generating an additional $50,000 a week in revenue. That allocation Nobody had the opportunity to bid on that allocation. If you are the current person that has it and they increase it, you get the increase at the exclusion of every other American. It is a public asset, Mr. Brown, you're right, and it has created tremendous sums of wealth for a select few the way this has been done. If it were oil or timber or any other asset, it would be auctioned off and we would use that money to build additional habitat and resources, restore the damage that the commercial fishing industry has done to reefs and things along those lines. So, to his credit, he's a great fisherman. He's a great fisherman, and he's made a lot of money with it. So I want to thank you for coming here today, and I'm going to give you a couple of suggestions. The quota system, the individual quota system, the Derby system did not work, and the IFQs will work for the commercial sector. I 100% believe it's better than the Derby system. But that's a public fish. And if it's creating private wealth, then by law, that access should be auctioned, not given away. Two is acknowledge the differences in the depths of the Gulf. Mr. Chairman, I have many, Mr. Comstock, we're going to get to know each other well. I would challenge you to go to the Gulf of Mexico and not catch a red snapper, and I would ask you one quick question. What is the difference if the fish is dead when I bring it to the surface, if I put it in the cooler, or if I throw it back overboard and feed a porpoise or a shark? Because the fish is dead when it comes to the surface.
You highlight one of the challenges of fishery management, and that is how do you discourage people from catching something or not catching something when you can't control that. So it is a challenge, and I understand your point exactly.
So respectfully, our problem is conflicts of interest and money.
Yep. The gentleman's time has expired. We'll now recognize the gentleman from Texas, Mr. Weber.